Hi, Frank Ray, attorney with Chesapeake Wilson Trust. Here today to talk to you about probate law, specifically where should I start first or what should I be worried about first? As always, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we're pushing out more content that will help you with your probate questions. All right, question we get all the time when people call in, they're asking questions about probate law. A loved one has just passed away and they're trying to figure out where to start. What should I worry about first? What do I really need to worry about versus what do I not need to worry about? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on Maryland probate law to tell you where to start with the probate process. Tip number 1, as always, change the mail of the decedent if there isn't someone living there you can trust. Now, why do we do that? Because if there's someone who's living there, maybe it's a grandchild who's not doing that well, and the personal representative is living at a different address, the grandchild may be just taking the mail or not getting the mail. It may not get to the personal representative, the person who's actually going to be in charge of administering the estate. That mail contains really important information. It contains information about assets. It contains information about debts that we may have to pay. It contains information about debts we may not want to pay. In other words, it contains a lot of really useful real-time information, and it's important to change that address fairly quickly. Now, if you're still living where the decedent lived and you're going to be the personal representative, you don't have to worry about that. Tip number 2, this dovetails off of tip number 1, and it may seem a little strange. Stop paying the bills right away. In other words, if you don't have the probate process started yet, but you're getting in a cable bill for a house that no one is living in, if you're getting in a bill for credit cards or medical expenses, stop paying the bills until we get things under control. Remember that Maryland probate law is really specific. We're only going to pay valid debts. There may be debts that are coming in that are not valid debts that you won't have to pay on behalf of the estate. Now, some of the debts we want to keep an eye out for are anything that relates to maintaining or the upkeep of property, car insurance, homeowners insurance, the BGE bill for the house, things that will help us maintain the property, including the mortgage itself or a car note. Put those aside. Those are important bills that we're going to talk about during tip number 3. Tip number 3 is starting the probate process. Remember, we did another video called Everything You Need to Know About Probate in 7 Minutes or Less. I'm going to throw a link to that video down in the description below where we go into more detail. But remember, the probate process takes a little while, and there's some information that you really need to get and do before you start the probate process. So it's really important to start right away. But just the basics are going to be obtaining multiple original copies of the death certificate, finding the original will, getting yourself bonded if you're going to be the personal representative, and finding out basically how much stuff is there so we can figure out what kind of estate we're going to open. Now, if you're deciding to pay bills and you don't have the probate process started yet, well, that's a little shaky. But if you are doing that and you think that there's going to be money to reimburse you, make sure you're keeping receipts. But the sooner you get the probate process started, the sooner you can open estate accounts and use the decedent's money to pay for the valid expenses and debts of the estate. As always, thanks for watching this video. Throw a link down below again to our probate in 7 minutes or less in case you want more in-depth information about probate law and how to administer an estate in Maryland.